There's so much more I can teach you about murder.
I don't need your help.
You might. Maybe we can solve a few together.
Goodbye, Dr. Whitley.
My boy.
Good morning, Mr. Payne. It's great to be talking to you. Happy
Morning.
New Year. And congratulations on the show coming back. So let's just start off with the season 1 finale. I don't think anyone anticipated how season 1 was going to end, so it was super shocking. Were you shocked by the season 1 finale, and then also how season 2 began and the fallout from that?
Yeah, I was a bit shocked. I had a suspicion that Ainsley might end up being the one to actually kill someone, but the way that Halston ended up doing it on the day, and it ended up being pretty shocking. Because Halston, outside of the character of Ainsley, Halston's this really sweet, lovely woman, and she went completely nuts in that last scene, and it shocked everyone, even the crew as well. We were like, wow, where did that come from? So that was great. I mean, it worked out exactly as it should have. And then, I mean, I loved at the end that tableau of them facing off against each other, and then Martin being on the phone. And of course, the last person in the world that Malcolm wants to know about this, because Martin will just want to talk about how it happened and serial killers with Malcolm now. It's like his worst nightmare. So now he has this secret that he's got to try and keep, and he's trying to protect his sister. But he's ended up doing that by lying to her, which is another horrible mess he's got himself into. So now every time he sees his sister, he's on edge of like, has she remembered anything? And so yeah, he's more in control of his relationship with his father, but then we've added in this whole other mess which he now has to deal with, and isn't going to get any better any soon.
So how are we going to see that play out over the course of season 2?
Well, so yeah, he's trying to keep this secret from his sister, which he might not be successful with in the end. Yeah, he wants to talk about it because he has stuff that he needs to process, but the only person he can talk to about it is his dad. So it's the same thing as last season, where all he wants is a hug from his dad, but he doesn't because his dad's a monster. It's like all he wants is to talk to his dad about this thing because he's his dad, but he doesn't want his dad to get any kind of perverse enjoyment out of talking to him about it. We just wants him to be a normal dad who can just talk about like how messed up it is that this thing happened, rather than going, this thing happened, it's amazing. It's like, no, it's not. This is awful. So that's the best thing about the show, is that it just, any kind of situation that would be dealt with in one way in the normal world is just flipped on its head in the show, which is so fun to mess around with. But it just means that Malcolm never gets a chance to relax, really. I mean, he really never does.
Tell us a little bit about how the relationship between Malcolm and Martin is going to sort of shift and change over the season. And is Malcolm going to slowly become more like his dad?
Well, that's always been Malcolm's biggest fear, if he's going to end up like his dad. And you know, he did end up chopping up this body and disposing of it. And that's not something that you do every day, and not something that many people have done. So he's now in this position of having done this horrible thing. And it wasn't that hard for him to do, I don't think. So that obviously brings up more questions with him. He still doesn't know what triggered his father, if there was anything that triggered his father. And so he is afraid of that within himself. And he's afraid that one day that switch might flip in his head. And he really wants to, there are questions that he really wants the answer to from his dad, but he just struggles with not wanting. It's like wanting to talk to his dad, but not wanting to talk to his dad. So it's that same dynamic will continue to play out this season.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is going to be joining the season this year. What can you tell us about her character?
So Catherine's playing a doctor, Dr. Capshaw, who starts off at Claremont with Michael's character, and so they'll be interacting when she first joins. And I mean, I interact with everyone on the show, so at some point I'm sure we'll meet each other. I'm very intrigued as to any new person that enters into Martin's life and how that affects him and what his interests are. And I'm sure she's going to be a big part of his day-to-day at Claremont. And so that will be very interesting to my character. So I will want to get involved with that.
Is it possible for the family to have a happy ending? I know no one wants to think about the ending of Prodigal Son, but is it possible for them to get a happy ending?
I don't think so. I don't know what that would be, really. If Malcolm was ever capable of coming to terms with what his father did, then I think that's his whole quest. I think he's definitely made progress with his mum. And he thought he was making progress with his sister, and then this is a whole other can of worms that's opened up in the beginning of this season. So I think, they could resolve things as much as any other family could, but their problems are slightly bigger.
Season 2, it takes place in a post-COVID world, but some of the storylines have sort of touched on systemic racism, police brutality. Why was it necessary for the show to sort of incorporate that into the storylines, you think?
I think it would be kind of odd if we didn't, really. In those police scenes, I'm the only white person in the room. We have like a very diverse cast, and I think if we didn't at least mention it, it would be very strange. The actors that play those parts live in this world and are aware of these things, and it's happening to them, and it's just their reality. And that's, we're just holding a mirror up to reality on TV. It's what we do. I mean, our show is so many different things at once. It's like super entertaining, super funny, super scary, and at times super real. I mean, we work with, my character is like so involved in his emotions and so involved in his pain, and this is another character's pain. And why can't we talk about that?